This is a video that is going to discuss how to solve multi-step rule equations. So this is kind of a follow-up to the first video, which is 1 and 2 step. For these, it is a little bit more complicated how to isolate the variable. So for the first one, this is the area formula for a trapezoid. We have b to the second, or b2. So we have b1, this is base 1, base 2. And this here, even though it kind of looks like a bunch of terms, because of the multiplication, those parentheses, we're actually looking at one term here. So we have to make everything that's not connected to the b2. These are going to turn to 1, and then we're actually going to end up zeroing out the b1. But we'll go ahead and start with that one. So I would initially start with a 1/2. To turn 1/2 to 1, we can just multiply it by 2, or 2 over 1. And that would turn to 2a equals, that would turn to 2 over 2, which is just 1h, or just h, b1 plus b2. So that would move the 1/2 to start. And since this is one term, we're looking at the multiplication between the h and the parentheses. We can go ahead and divide by h on both sides. This h over h, since it's a monomial, we can just go ahead and simplify this to 1. And then this, of course, would just stay 2a h equals b1 plus b2. Once we're at this step here, it's pretty easy to get the b isolated. Because there's 1 on the parentheses on the outside here, we can go ahead and drop the parentheses. And now all we have to do is zero out the b1 by subtracting it. So b2 equals 2a over h minus b1. So that's the first lesson, or the first problem that we're solving on here. So kind of following that same mindset, we're going to look in that same strategy at this problem. It's the same thing kind of going on here. This is really one term. This whole parentheses, unless there's a 1 on the outside, it's included in that term. So we're going to solve for r, which is stuck in the grouping symbol. So we're going to go ahead and divide off the pi h squared. Pi h squared over pi h squared is just 1. And then again, we can just remove the parentheses because there's a 1 on the outside. And from this point, we can zero out the minus h over 3 by adding h over 3, which would give us r equals v over pi h squared plus h over 3. And now our r's been isolated. Another problem that might be considered multi-step here would be if we are solving for b. And this is our formula for finding the missing side of a right triangle, or using it to verify a right triangle, the Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to go ahead and zero out the other term. So we're going to subtract a squared minus a squared 0. So now we have b squared equals c squared minus a squared. In order to undo the squaring, we would just go ahead and take the square root. And anything we square, the square root, pending that it's a positive number, we end up with the same number back. So that's our answer for that one. The last problem on the multi-step is when we are solving forward. It kind of looks like a 2-step from the start, but you'll actually notice when you're taking a look at it that we have 2 a's, and that is the variable that we are trying to isolate. So we have 2 a's, and unfortunately these are not like terms. 5ab and minus 2a are not, we can't combine them. So in this situation, and this does come up sometimes, we're actually going to go ahead and factor out the a, or kind of think of it like reverse distributive property. So we're going to take the a out from the term, and we're going to write down what's left once we divide the a out. So after we divide the a out here, we're going to be left with 5b. After we divide it out of 2a, we're just going to be left with that minus 2. And once we've gotten to this spot, now you'll notice we only have 1a, so we can isolate it. This, again, is still one term now. We were 2 terms, but now we've made it 1 term, so we're going to go ahead and divide off the 5b minus 2. Can't even think of the whole thing. And then divide the other side by 5b minus 2. So we're left with a equals q over 5b